The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today, all the way from Savannah, Georgia. We got Junior Matthews with EXP. How are you, Junior?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, Monday morning, getting the ball rolling. So I'll ask you the same question. I won't let you off the hook too easy. I'll ask you the same question I ask, everybody else comes on the program. Were you the, young man of 5 or 6 years old, tugging at your parents' pant leg, saying, "Hey, mom and dad, how do I become a realtor?" Or were you like most of us, where you just, you kind of fell back into it?
Yeah, like most of us, it's interesting though, when I look back on my life and kind of how it started as a kid and how everything kind of led me to this point. So I feel like it's always been in me, but at a young age, even as a teenager, I had no idea I'd be doing this right now.
Really? Well, I mean, I do know you did, you went into the military. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your service. Do appreciate that. Well, tell us, how do you go from being in the military? I mean, I guess, not so much the Cliff Notes version. Let's hear the Junior Matthews version, but you go into did you go immediately into real estate, after the military, or how did that look?
Yeah, so I started out matter of fact, I didn't even finish high school. I thought it was a complete waste of time. I ended up going to Marine Corps boot camp, and I ended up going to Marine Corps boot camp and graduating before my class actually graduated. I remember showing up to the high school in my uniform, and everybody's like, what's going on? And
Who's
so
this guy? The recruiter's here.
Exactly. He's a changed man. So
right.
Yeah, I went to Marine Corps boot camp, ended up in North Carolina for 4 years altogether. Did 2 deployments in the Marines. I was infantry, so got to do some pretty high speed training. That was cool. And then I had a 7-year break in service. And then in 2009, I went back into the Army this time. I was enlisted in the Marines. I wanted to be an officer, and all signs pointed me towards the Army with the opportunities they were offering with the school I was going to go to. It just made sense to go that route. So I switched over to the Army in 2009. Ended up going active duty in 2012. When I went over in 2009, I was in the reserves, and then I started going to school to get my degree so I could become a commissioned officer. Right. And then 2012, I went active duty for 7 years, and in 2019, I got off of active duty in the Army. And it was during that time, towards the end of my career, we were in Hawaii. That was one of my, second to last duty stations. And we bought a house in Hawaii. And it was my second purchase, second house, but it was my first real house. The other one was pretty cheap and nothing really, there wasn't really anything to talk about there. But this property was in Hawaii. And we got in at the right price before the property appreciated tremendously in an area that's known as Kapolei, Hawaii, which is going to be the second Honolulu. And we got in before it grew like crazy. And when we sold that house and we brought in a lot of money, I was like, let me look into this a little bit more.
It's like a business.
Exactly. And that's kind of what sparked my interest. And real estate's always been fascinating to me for the longest time. And like I said, from a young age, I was buying, selling, trading baseball cards. So it all started kind of at a young age. I had it, and then it switched over to buying, selling, trading cars. And I've always kind of been in some type of sales, position. It's just something I enjoy doing. And so I started studying and investing really hard when we sold our house in Hawaii, and we brought in that decent amount of money. And one of the common themes in all the podcasts and all the books that I was reading is you might as well get your real estate license if you're going to be an investor. Wow. And I was like, that makes sense. So I in 2018, a year before I got off of active duty, I went ahead and got licensed, and in preparation for getting off of active duty to go ahead and hit the ground running. And that's pretty much in a nutshell how it all went down.
Story, man. Yeah. That's a real good story. I love it. Yeah, it's pointing to me saying, man, I don't know how many times I've told myself, at 17, you and I are far distant in age, but the story doesn't change, you just like, man, this is a waste of time because you have that calling inside, and I did graduate high school, but then went on to college and I just kept saying, this is not, none of this, none of this. I'm never going to use this algebraic equation for anything, that I'm ever going to do. And nobody I talk to cares if I use onomatopoeia or, I don't know, any English term you want to use in my talking to them, especially here in Texas. I was a Texas kid. And I felt the same way, man. I was just like, it's a waste of time, total waste of time. Too many entrepreneurial things out there for us in America to
Absolutely
grab hold on to, right? Well,
yes,
let
sir.
me ask you this: how'd you get to? If you don't mind me asking, how'd you get to Savannah? How'd you get to Atlanta?
So our last duty station was Fort Stewart, Georgia, and so that's right outside of Savannah, and that's where I came off of active duty, and we just love the area so much. Which is right outside of Savannah. We love the area so much we decided to make this home, and my wife's got that entrepreneur type spirit too. She started a restaurant delivery business a couple years before I got off of active duty, and that was something that was bringing in money and helping me feel more comfortable with, not having that steady military check every
Right.
2 weeks. So we kind of established ourselves here, and we found a good church to go to, and everything just kind of fell into place, and we call it home now.
That's fantastic, man. Congratulations. That, to me, that's a success story for sure.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about right now. Let's talk about what you're doing with EXP and how things look. Are you a solopreneur? Are you on a team, or how does that look?
So yeah, I'm solo. I've been solo. One of the mistakes I made in real estate, and I've been trained to kind of just figure things out. And I like working with people that are that way, and I've tried to bring on a few individuals to build a team, and they weren't really figured outers and they needed their handheld. And most of those individuals are,
Right.
until they become a figured outer, they're not going to succeed. They may make a little money, but you got to figure things out. You got to be a problem solver. And so I tried to bring on some individuals that just didn't work out. So yeah, I've been solo. But where I was going with that is when I first started real estate, I didn't have the right mentor. And so I had to learn a lot of hard lessons myself. I attempted to fall under a brokerage that I thought was going to be a good mentorship for me opportunity, but it wasn't. It was quite the opposite. And then I tried again with another guy who was actually an investor, and I was thinking that I was going to learn a lot from him because he had a lot of investment opportunities. He's just too busy. So that's when EXP came along, and at that point I was like, all right, I just got to figure something else out. Let me figure out which brokerage makes sense. I did research on all the different options out there, and EXP's model just really stood out. So been with them ever since, going on I believe 3 years now.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I do believe though, since you did do your due diligence on EXP, there are so many tools, if you get back into building that team again, that you can place in front of a new team member. And if they can't figure it out from there, time to move on, because
Exactly.
there are so many tools they put right in front of you. Here's the module. Here's how you do it. Here's the playbook right here. Read it. And they're like, that's not going to work out. So,
Right.
but yeah, more power to you if you decide to build that team around you for sure. So let's put our prognostication hats on real quick, see if we can't predict the future a little bit. But what's that vision board look like for the next 1, 3, and 5 years for Junior? What are some of the goals, and how are you going to attain them over the next few years?
So I've recently switched over to EXP commercial. For the past 2 years, I've been an Icon agent. So I felt like and I'm not giving up residential, by the way. Just because I switched over to EXP, I'm still doing residential. I got entirely too much business to throw that away. So
Right.
I'm able to do that. That's one of the first things I made sure of is when I switched over to EXP commercial, can I maintain my residential business? And the answer to that was yes. I said, great. I'll figure that out because I don't want to throw that business away. Being a two-time Icon agent now, I brought in
Right.
a lot of transactions and did quite well with it. So my mind is on EXP commercial because, like I said, my wife and I, we run a few different businesses, and I love, again, going back to why I got into real estate to begin with was the investment side of it, multifamily properties, kind of that lane. And now it's more of a business broker type focus because we own businesses, and I love evaluating businesses, and I love that lane of real estate. So that's why I switched over to EXP commercials to become a business broker.
Nice.
And so
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the next 3 to 5 years, I plan on doing, kind of business brokerage deals. A lot of agents don't even understand that that's even an opportunity. So
Option.
for the agents listening, you can't,
That's
as a residential
fantastic.
agent, you can't sell a business, but you can refer it to me and I'll sell it for you and I'll give you 20% commission. So a lot of agents don't even know they exist. You can sell the building behind that real estate.
Right.
Even if you're residential, not commercial, you can do that. However, you can't sell the business. I can sell the business by itself as a business broker. And so
Right.
that's
That's
what's
nice.
fascinating to me. And that's what my next 3 to 5 years looks like. I plan on excelling in that tremendously. I work with Shark Team Global, which is out of Florida. And so I'm doing things the right way now. I got the right mentor to help me be successful. Again, it's something I'm new at, so I've got a lot of learning
Right.
to do. We'll see where things go. But the good thing about business brokers is I can do business across the United States and the majority of
Yeah.
states out there. I don't have to be licensed in every state to do business. So it just opens up a whole nother
Yeah, sure. It's a whole nother
possibility.
vertical for you. You know,
Exactly.
it's another tentacle out there, right? So you just grab
Absolutely.
it all. No, I love that, man. I think that's fantastic. I'd love to hear more about that sometime too. I could probably do a whole show just on your business brokerage side. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, I definitely love that. And you may be the new EXP business brokerage guru.
I'm,
That'd be nice, right? No?
Well, my mentor, he is, and
Okay.
he sits on the business brokerage board. So he's way up there. And just a little bit more about that. So Shark Team Global, that we got our name. If you ever watch Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington, he's one of the original sharks on there.
Right.
So he's kind of the voice behind Shark Team Global, and
Okay.
he's teamed up with us, and so that's how the seed was planted. To me last year when I went to the EXP Shareholder Summit, they put on
Yeah.
a presentation and Kevin Harrington was there, and I was like, this is interesting. And then I just kept on tugging at my heart, and I was like, all right, I'm going to lean forward. And so fortunately, Gerard, he's the actual team lead for Shark Team, and he's the one that Kevin Harrington approached to begin with because he's got a business valuation software that's the only one of its kind that is quickly integrated, or it integrates with QuickBooks. There's
Okay.
no other business valuation software, so he's using that as a resource to really develop leads across the United States with CPAs, business attorneys, and stuff like that. So it's just a really awesome opportunity.
That's fantastic, man. That is awesome. I love it. I love hearing about that. I definitely would love to talk more about that at some point with you. So let's talk about a little bit about, kind of came into this podcast as we're kind of winding down here time wise, but now my mind's fluttered with, the Shark Team idea. I'm like, well, wait a minute, man, I'm going to start switching gears. Well, I'll go ahead and switch gears. I'll stay with it. That's how that's how flexible I am, even in my 50s. So how do you go about, I mean, now you're like, okay, I don't have to be licensed in every state. I'm looking for people who want to get their business sold, brokered, or whatever it might be, representation of some sort. How do you go about finding these businesses? I mean, we come from the mentality of the realtor, right? And there are a lot of boots on the ground, a lot of handshaking, how you doing, mailers, digital, online, whole 9 yards. What about you for the business brokerage side? How does that work? How do you find these folks?
So the main method is kind of what I touched on, but I didn't really go into detail. So this business valuation software that we're using is called Today's Val. And
Okay.
so what we're doing is we have a free version of that. It's similar to the actual real version, but it's kind of a snapshot, right? And so what we're doing is we're pushing out this free version to your CPAs, your business coaches, your business attorneys out there, and letting them know, hey, check this out. This may be something you can use. And in turn, what that's doing is it's creating referrals across the United States, because those are some of the individuals those business owners are going to come to first if they're thinking about selling a business.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, making contact. Hey, check this out, and it's, the approach, if I'm approaching a business owner, it's not, hey, can I help you sell your business? Are you interested in selling? It's, hey, do you understand the value of your business? Because most of them don't. And so that's the approach. Can I help you understand the value in case, and I don't really want to even talk about selling right now. Can I help you understand the value? And at that point, a lot of times it's either worth more, or a lot of times it's worth less, because business owners think that
Yeah.
their businesses are worth a lot more than what
I'm
they
worth
really.
hundreds of millions.
Yeah. And their books are all over the place. But
You're
yeah.
losing money, Tim. Oh, Okay.
Yeah. You may want to wait a couple more years, pal. But no, so
Right.
that's the main source to generate leads through that. And
Okay.
I'm going to focus. So I run a mobile automotive repair business here locally, and I've been
Okay.
doing that. I did that also as soon as I got off active duty as a way to kind of generate income.
Right.
From the get-go, while real estate was, taking a little time to pick up. And so I've been doing that for 20 years. That break and service I had between the Marines and the Army, I also got a degree in automobile technology. So I turned wrenches for 6 or 7 years professionally,
Right.
but I've been doing it for the past 20 years. So I got that level of experience. So I'm going to utilize that, and I'm going to open up. I'm not going to open up. I'm most likely going to buy an auto repair facility and use that. Specialize in that lane of helping
Right.
auto repair shop owners buy and sell businesses, because I'm already so much familiar with that. So that's
Yeah.
going to be my specialty to begin with, but then I'm going to branch off from there. What I've noticed though, and I've only been at this for a month now, I've already had a few different leads for leases, like commercial buildings leases and
Yeah.
stuff like. And here in Savannah, it's growing really big, so I got to get educated on that too. I don't want to be all over the place to the point where I can't be successful at what I really want to do, but at the
Right.
same time, I don't want to miss these opportunities, for these leases and stuff like that may be a pretty simple, way to get a little
Yeah,
bit.
for sure. Or even like the property management side of it, or things like that. You just never know. There's so many avenues in just real estate and business alone. Things can fall into your lap. How can someone get in touch with you, Junior?
Okay, so first, look, my phone's always on. 912-432-1673 is my phone number. And then you can email me at junior.matthews@expcommercial.com. And either one of those ways, I'm very responsive. That's one thing that I truly believe in this business, is being responsive. And there's a lot of agents out there that are not. And that's part of the reason why
That's
I
for
feel
sure.
like I'm successful is, man, I'm responsive and I like taking care of people, I really do.
Yeah. Fantastic, Junior. Junior Matthews, Savannah, Georgia, EXP Realty and EXP Corporate. And well, I could go on with the ands, and we've heard it all right here. Thanks so much for being on the program today. I look forward to catching up with you the next 3, 6, 9 months. Like I said, I could probably do a whole episode or more just on the corporate side, because nobody really knows what's going on there some of the times, and there are people like yourself that do. So have a great week, and Junior, thank you for being on the program.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. Have a good day.
You too.